regular meeting of City Council, October 5th, 2020 together. Ask Chris Jernigan if he'll stand and give our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'd like to call on Francisco Rizzo, chaplain of Carolina Blue Ridge Healthcare System, to give our invocation. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Let us pray. Shout with joy to the Lord, all the earth. Break into song, sing praise. With trumpets and the sound of the horn, shout with joy to the King, the Lord. God of all nations, the wonders of your love and mercy can be seen the entire world over. Every human heart bears the dignity of being your unrepeatable creation. Give us today the courage to honor this truth in our work, our reflection, and our conversation. Instill in our hearts the desire to care for and be in solidarity with all peoples. As we seek solutions to global and local issues, give us your vision and wisdom, you who see the world without its walls and borders, you whose kingdom is made manifest through justice and peace. Give us the wisdom to be good leaders. Give us the patience to be good servants. Give us the love to be good neighbors. You who have created us all, give us peace and blessing. Let the sea and what fills it resound, the world and those who dwell there. Let the rivers clap their hands, the mountains shout with them their joy. Before the Lord who comes to govern the earth, to govern the world with justice and the peoples with fairness. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Francisco.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce council. To my far right, Wendy Cato, Mayor Pro Tem, Chris Jernigan, City Council, Louis Vini, City Attorney. I'm Ronnie Thompson, your Mayor, Sally Sandy, our City Manager, Butch McSwain, City Council, and Chris Hawkins, City Council. Kelly Russell is our recording secretary, and I believe we have interpreters for the deaf also with us. Our first item of business is a retirement resolution for James Marty Coward. I'd like to read that resolution. Whereas James Marty Coward was employed by the City of Morganton as Public Safety Officer BLET trainee in the Public Safety Department on August 21st, 2000. Promoted to Public Safety Officer trainee on December 15th, 2000. Promoted to Public Safety Officer on May 20th, 2001. Promoted to PSO Special Assignments on August 13th, 2007. And promoted to Sergeant on September 12th, 2018. And whereas James Marty Coward has faithfully served the City of Morganton and the Public Safety Department and has given of his time and efforts for the benefit of the citizens of the City of Morganton for 21 years and 11 months, and whereas James Marty Coward retired from the City of Morganton as Sergeant in the Public Safety Department on September 1st, 2020, and whereas the Morganton City Council wishes to officially recognize the contribution of James Marty Coward and express their appreciation for a job well done, now therefore be it resolved in the City of Morganton that the mayor present this resolution to James Marty Coward, adopted this the 14th day of September 2020. Ronnie Thompson, Mayor, Sally Sandy, City Clerk. I need a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. I need a second motion, please.
Motion to declare the weapon Glock 22 Gen 4 semi-auto pistol, serial number XHY520, and Carnes Fire Services helmet, model number 1044 DSR, as surplus, sold for $1 and presented to retired Sergeant Coward.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I'm going to ask Mayor Pro Tem Wendy
And I am
Cato.
paying the dollar.
if she will make that presentation. Marty, if you'll come forward.
Marty, thank you for your 21 years of service, and I hope you get to enjoy your retirement. Thank you.
Marty, would you like to say anything?
Not a good speaker, but
That's okay.
I've enjoyed my time at public safety. We had the ups and downs, of course, but most was good times. Met a lot of good people, more. I'm actually from Marion, so I drive down here every day. So met a lot of good people here. Hope I keep friendship with those here also.
Good.
Thank you for your service, Marty.
Thank you, Marty.
Under our public advocacy, we have several announcements and resolutions. Our first is the resolution, Public Power Week. I'd like to read that, please. Whereas public power is a crucial component in cities and towns across North Carolina, contributing to the overall health of communities by providing reliable electricity, excellent local service, and prompt restoration. And whereas North Carolina's more than 70 public power cities and towns are among more than 2,000 across the country, and whereas many of North Carolina's public power cities and towns have been electric providers for more than 100 years, assisting their communities through boom times as well as pandemics and economic downturns, and whereas public power meets the electric needs of 49 million Americans, almost 15% of electricity consumers, and whereas North Carolina public power utilities are valuable community assets that contribute to the well-being of the community and provide economic development opportunities, and whereas North Carolina's public power utilities are dependable institutions that provide excellent service and a commitment to community. Now therefore be it resolved that the week of October 4th through the 10th, 2020 is Public Power Week, a week to promote Morganton and North Carolina's other public power cities and towns for their contributions to their communities, and be it further resolved that the North Carolina public power communities join with all public power systems in the United States in this celebration of public power. Adopted this 5th day of October 2020, Ronnie Thompson, Mayor, Sally Sandy, City Clerk. I'll ask Chris Hawkins if he'll make that presentation to Brooks. If you'll make that presentation of the resolution to him, please.
And while they're moving over there, Public Power Week for us this year is a little different. We are not doing our usual activities in the lobby, but we are doing daily drawings and having some giveaways of some energy savings kits, some gift certificates, and some credits against your outstanding power bill. We will be contacting those customers. We're also doing a series of videos that you can view on our social media, on our YouTube channel, our Facebook, to highlight our public power workers and those who contribute to the electric service in Morganton.
And since it's a resolution, I would like someone to make that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, a second?
Second.
All in favor of this resolution for Public Power Week 2020, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, Chris.
Brooks, it's an honor for me to present this resolution to you, and as it says in there, thank you so much to you and your department for the contributions you make to our city.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it very much.
Brooks, would you like to say something, please?
Very shortly, Sally took all I was going to say, but I just want to thank y'all for the support you've shown our department and to the city, by the way you voted on the budgets and stuff over these many years. And just want to be honored to receive this award for my crews. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brooks, for all you do. And I think we may have a short video.
I think we do. It's one of our videos celebrating public power.
What powers our community? What keeps us going? It's there early in the morning as we get ready for work, or in the evening as we stay up late, finishing our studies, our work, or enjoying a night with our family. It makes it possible to enjoy a meal or a drink during a night on the town. It lights up the displays of your favorite local businesses. It enables you to watch all of your favorite movies and TV shows. It connects you to the entire world powering the internet service in your home and business. It runs through every line that crisscrosses overhead on every street in our city. Public power in our community is a tie that binds us all. The men and women of our electric services department are up early in the morning, out past dinner, and even up in the middle of the night to keep our power systems running. Every day, they are maintaining the stations, lines, and delivery systems that feed power to your homes, our schools, and our local businesses. It does not matter what time of day or what type of weather we are having. Our public power employees work in the rain, snow, ice, unbearable heat, and cold to ensure you can enjoy the amenities that public power provides. These men and women are your neighbors, living and working in the same community as you. Many of you see them, working all hours of the night to keep your power on. Many of you have brought them bottles of water on hot days or offered a kind word during an extended outage. Your children go to school with theirs. Perhaps you go to the same church or shop in the same grocery store. You bump into them on the ball field under the Friday night lights of a sporting event. This spirit is the force that drives public power and connects us all. Our employees do what they do because they love their community and the people in it. Because this is what public power is all about. We are neighbors helping neighbors. Not only is our power reliable, it comes from renewable resources. 90% comes from nuclear power. 9.3% comes from other renewable sources. 0.4% comes from poultry waste. 0.2% comes from solar, and 0.1% comes from hydro. Thank you to all of our City of Morganton Electric Services customers. We are so proud to have been serving our community with reliable public power service since the 1890s. We are community powered.
Ethan, very good video, and thanks
Great.
to our electric department. Very nice. Under our upcoming event, Fire Prevention Week, I think, is the next proclamation. Trying to get ahead of myself. Fire prevention. This is a announcement of Fire Prevention Week. Whereas the City of Morganton is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Morganton, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the location where people are at greatest risk from fire, and whereas 2 of every 5 homes start in the kitchen, with 31% of these fires resulting from unattended cooking, and whereas more than half of the reported non-fatal home cooking fire injuries occurred when the victims tried to fight the fire themselves, and whereas Morganton residents should stay in the kitchen when cooking food on the stovetop, keep a 3-foot kid-free zone around cooking areas, and keep anything that can catch fire away from stovetops, and whereas residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire, and whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half, and whereas Morganton Public Safety is dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection, education, and whereas the 2020 Fire Prevention Week theme is Serve Up Fire Safety in the Kitchen, effectively serves to remind us to stay alert and use caution when cooking to reduce the risk of kitchen fires. Therefore, I, Ronnie Thompson, Mayor of the City of Morganton, do hereby proclaim October 4th through 10th, 2020, as Fire Prevention Week throughout the city, and I urge all people of Morganton to check their kitchens for fire hazard and unsafe safe cooking practices during Fire Prevention Week 2020, and to support the many activities and efforts of Morganton Public Safety Department. Adopted this 5th day of October 2020, Ronnie Thompson, Mayor, Sally Sandy, City Clerk. And I'm going to ask Butch to present that proclamation and resolution to Chief Israel, if he's here. There he is. Chief, if you'll come forward.
It is certainly my pleasure to present this proclamation to you, and thank you
and your entire department, if you'll express that to them for the work they do for us.
Absolutely.
And thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Chief, would you like to say a few words?
Just real quickly, just a couple of tips and also some upcoming things to be looking for in the next couple of weeks. Just some interesting facts that might bring some interest to some of y'all. But since January 1st, as we just heard, the cooking is the number one cause of their home fires and injuries. And that's nationwide. That's pulled from the U.S. Fire Administration data. And within that, as you just heard, the unattended cooking is the leading cause of fires in the kitchen. So I pulled some numbers, just curious myself. Since January 1st of 2020, we've had 4 residential fires right here in the city of Morganton that has resulted from direct unattended cooking. And we would like to think that these types of accidents are preventable when prepared or rehearsed within the household, within your family. So I'd like to encourage all to take the month of October to please check your smoke detector batteries, discuss and develop fire escape plans with your family, and of course this year, add the kitchen safety plan in the mix. In fire, mere seconds can mean the difference between a safe escape and tragedy. Fire safety education isn't just for school and children. Teenagers, adults, and the elderly are also at risk of fire. I would like to encourage every member of our community to take some time this October during Fire Prevention Week and this month to make sure they understand and prepare their households and their families on how to stay safe in case of fire. And each day this week at 4 p.m. we'll be posting on our Facebook page, on the Public Safety Facebook page, safety tips that you can go on there and look at, rehearse, review if you're looking to create a plan or to educate your family in your household to use that. And also October 12th we'll be doing, and we're kind of a little behind this year because of a lot of things, but I'll be working with Ethan October the 12th to do a fire prevention video, and then after that, hopefully that week, toward the end of the week, we'll have that uploaded to our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to go on our website and our Facebook page both. We will post that link so that you can look at that link and go on that and view that also. And of course, anytime our fire stations are open, anybody can call, come by, stop at either any of our fire stations or come by headquarters, either way, and we'll be more than glad to help you out with any questions you may have, and I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chief. Now we'll get to upcoming events. The City Council will have a special town hall on Tuesday, October the 13th from 5:30 at the College Street Recreation Center. I'd like to make an announcement about Greenway Public Transportation. To ensure all citizens have the access to their right to vote, Greenway Public Transportation will offer a free ride to the polls during the 2020 general elections in Catawba, Caldwell, Alexander, and Burke counties. This offer includes a ride to and from voting sites along the fixed or flex route in Burke County, as well as call-in advance van service from their home to their polling places and back in all 4 counties. Early voting for the general elections in Burke County begins Thursday, October the 15th. The offer for free early voting transportation will conclude on Friday, October the 30th in Alexander and Burke counties, and Saturday, October 31st in Catawba County. Transportation to the polls will also be provided by Greenway on Election Day, Tuesday, November 3rd. Next is, I want to announce that we have a third Thursday art crawl in downtown, October the 15th from 5 to 7:30. We have ghost tours that will be downtown on Friday and Saturday, October 23rd and 24th, and 30th and 31st. Those will start at 6 p.m. We have drive-through Halloween trick-or-treat October 23rd from 4 to 7 at the College Street Recreation Center. We have Halloween Hunt-tacular scavenger hunt in downtown Morganton on Saturday, October 31st from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Our farmers market continues Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon at 300 Beach Street, Wednesdays from noon to 4 o'clock at the mini market, 111 Green Street. We have also an announcement about our convenience fees. I'm going to ask Sally if she'll cover the convenience fees.
Sure. Effective Wednesday, the City of Morganton will be waiving all of the convenience fees for online payments through our payment portal, and that will be for the month of October and for the month of November. We're hoping that our customers will take advantage of this and use our online payment portal to pay your bills to the city of Morganton. And you can look for a press release on that and a reminder of how to do that.
And that will last through December 31st, is that correct?
Through November
November,
30th.
okay.
Through November 30th. And I have one other thing too, so everyone can notice that our Courthouse Square renovation project has begun. And there's lots of activity, lots of dirt being moved, lots of equipment everywhere. Would ask everyone to tune in each week. There's going to be a weekly update. Am I correct on the weekly thing? Okay, I'm sorry, every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, we're going to have an update that will be posted on the downtown website and on D2U and the city's social media, Facebook page, YouTube, all that kind of stuff too, so that you can see and keep up with the progress that is happening on that project.
Thank you, Sally. Next on the agenda, North Carolina Municipal Power Agency #1 update.
Nothing at this time, except we're happy to be celebrating Public Power Week and appreciate our public power employees.
Next on our agenda, consent agenda. I believe we have 6 items. Sally, will you cover those?
We do, and for those of you viewing at home, those items include minutes from a special meeting on August the 13th, minutes from the regular meeting on September the 14th, tax releases in the amount of $1,693.27, granting approval to Burke Development for them to be able to grant an easement to the city of Morganton for an electric line that would ultimately supply the electricity to serve the water tank that's being constructed at the business park. Several budget amendments, a $1,000 budget amendment to recognize a grant received by Public Safety from Walmart, planning a community outreach event with that, and stay tuned. Once those decisions are made, we will get that news out. Also, a budget amendment, $30,756.50. That is for wastewater, and that is an insurance reimbursement for a building that was damaged by snow in 2018. And finally, a budget amendment recognizing reimbursement of some COVID-related expenditures, and those are in the Compass Fund and the General Fund. The total amount, $113,874.76, and those are the CARES Act money that the state received from the federal government and then has passed on to local governments.
Thank
Would
you.
ask y'all to consider all these in one motion.
Does anyone wish to have any items removed from the consent agenda? To have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
To have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Under new business, our first item of new business is a public hearing and consideration of amending the CDBG fiscal year 2019 annual action plan to add community development block grant COVID-19 funds. The public hearing is open.
Yes.
And I'll call on Lisa to make comments.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So HUD is going to send us some more money. So I guess
Great.
that's a good thing. So they will be sending, this was the third round of funding for HUD, $106,060. So we need to amend our 2019 action plan to add these funds in there so we can provide the activities. We're going to put that money in public service to continue the activities that we've been doing.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Anyone like to speak in the public hearing?
And those activities, to be clear, are the dollars that we've been distributing, and you'll consider some more later tonight, to our local nonprofits that are running utility assistance programs, also some rental and mortgage assistance programs, and then some direct benefit to our local nonprofits that have shown direct cost that they've been impacted with operating during the pandemic.
Anybody wish to speak? Public hearing is now closed. What's the wish of City Council?
I'll offer a motion to approve the amendment to the 2019 action plan and the 2015 to 2019 consolidated plan to include COVID-19 round 2 funding.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Another amendment, please.
Make a motion to amend the project budget ordinance to include $106,060 in additional COVID-19 relief funding.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Lisa, thank you so much. Okay. Next item of business is the consideration of approving a 10-year asset management plan for electric. Sally?
So earlier today, the city council had a work session where our consulting engineers, Southeastern Consulting Engineers, provided a 10-year asset management plan, basically a 10-year capital investment plan for the electric fund and the electric department, looking at expenditures that we can look forward to budgeting for and prioritizing and planning in our future. Learned that we have over 8,200 electric customers, and we have over 220 miles of overhead plant and 30 miles of underground, and I had to think about that for a second, and a handful of substations. And so maintaining that system obviously requires our investment. So the council got a good dose of 10 years worth of that, and would ask that you consider adopting that now. I believe Chad has a recap. The 4 types of improvements are system improvements, rejuvenation projects, upgrading some of our equipment and some of the parts of our distribution system, scheduled maintenance and replacement of some heavy equipment in there, system modernization, including upgrading our SCADA system and the brains behind our electric system, and some other things, all totaling, again, over a 10-year period, just under $18 million. Would ask that the council adopt those. Would also tell everyone at home that obviously this is something that each year at budget time gets revisited, and as situations change, projects move, projects get reassessed. This again is a planning tool and a tool for us to use in rate setting and in spreading out our costs so that we don't hit our ratepayers too much in any single year.
What's the wish of council?
Motion to approve the 10-year asset management plan for electric.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is consideration of awarding a contract for installment purchase financing for the purchase of multiple pieces of equipment and vehicles. Sally?
It is that time of year where we look to replace large pieces of equipment and work trucks, public safety vehicles that we have included in this year's budget. This year, each year we'll take those items and group them together in order to go out to our banks and ask for financing. The more of that equipment we put together, the better the financing rate that we get. Looking this year to replace patrol cars, K-9 vehicles, several service trucks, some dump trucks, and a front-loading sanitation vehicle. Combining all of those, the total that we are asking to finance is $835,744. The terms, some of the equipment is 3 years, some equipment is for 5 years, depending on the length of time we plan to keep a piece of equipment. We solicited bids and we received 2. The lowest responsible bidder that we got was from First Citizens Bank, and they offered to finance all of the equipment at 1.45%. And so we are asking that you consider awarding that contract tonight.
What's the wish of council?
Motion to award a contract for installment purchase financing of multiple pieces of equipment to First Citizens Bank in the principal amount of $835,744 at 1.45% interest for periods of 3 and 5 years, and to authorize the mayor and city manager to execute all required documents.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I think in looking at this is 11 total vehicles, I think, that, for that total amount, and 1.45% is an excellent interest rate.
It's amazing.
Very
And
good.
noting that some of the financing of the vehicles are 3 years and some are 5 years, but the 1.45 applies to all of it.
Any more discussion?
I just think we need to compliment Jesse and expect that.
Jesse, thanks so much. Okay. I guess we're ready to vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is consideration of award of the CDBG entitlement funds for local nonprofits. Call on Lisa Helton.
Okay, this funding is from our fiscal year 2020. We set aside $22,388 for our grants and nonprofit program. We received applications on September 21st and would like to make recommendations on 3. We received 4 applications, but the 4th from the meeting place, they've received funding 2 years in a row. So we like to give other nonprofits a chance on receiving funding. The Outreach Center recommendation, $9,100, and that is to provide food and other equipment for their food distribution food program. The Burke United Christian Ministries recommendation of $7,000, and that is to purchase food and for their rent deposit program. And the House of Refuge at $6,288, and that is for operational costs and to buy food for the shelter.
What's the wish of council?
I'll make the motion to award the fiscal year 2020 entitlement funds to the nonprofits as recommended.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Lisa, thank you.
And I just want to clarify, we have a lot of CDBG action tonight, and this is for our current funding and has nothing to do with the COVID relief funding.
Next on our agenda is consideration of appointment to the Human Relations Commission. This is a mayoral appointment, and I'm going to appoint Jane Gant and Charlie Mendoza to the Human Relations Council. That will be terms to expire June 30th, 2023. Do we have anything else to come before council?
Could I add to that, that still leaves 2 at-large positions that we are still taking applications for. So if someone is watching or listening and wants to apply, we would love to have that, or if someone knows of someone, we would love to have additional representation on that group.
And
30
we also need to
30
notice
days.
the vacancies on the HPC that will,
30-day notice.
30-day notice.
So we have a 30-day notice on our Historic Preservation Commission. The terms of 2 of those members will be expiring in November. So if anyone is interested, please get an application to Kelly Russell. That would be fantastic.
I'd like to close in saying just be patient on the courthouse. Traffic is going to be coming and going with big trucks, and we are making progress safely, slowly but safely. Louis, would you like anything? No.
Well, I do have one other item, actually, and it's another CDBG item. And so, as Lisa talked about earlier in the public hearing, and as we are finding out, and it seems like, we talked earlier, it seems like we're doing a CDBG action almost every other day. But what's really happening is in their attempt to get dollars out to help folks who are struggling during the pandemic, we are getting notified almost weekly of something new and of the way that we are allowed to spend these monies and what we can do to try to get it out in our community and to help folks. So tonight we would like to ask you to consider a couple of things. So the original money that we got for COVID relief for CDBG was $87,803. We have placed a good portion of that already with our nonprofits in the form of utility assistance programs and in the form of helping them with unexpected expenditures. We would like to ask you to consider putting another $10,000 of that, awarding that to several nonprofits who are continuing to struggle with their operational cost during this time. And for that, we would ask that you consider awarding $8,000 to the meeting place, and that is for their costs for safety and cleaning the shelter and for what they do daily during this time. $1,000 to Burke United Christian Ministries, which would also go back into helping them with their daily cost, and also $1,000 to the Outreach Center. We've had more requests than the $10,000, but right now we have $10,000 that we can award. And so we felt like we needed to go to the House of Refuge and then, to the meeting place, and then to the others to use the $10,000. That's one thing. Then tonight, we just held the public hearing, and we know that we are eligible to receive another $106,060. Would ask you to consider taking $56,000 of that in this first round, and considering applications that we have received from our local nonprofits that have rental and mortgage assistance programs. Would ask that you consider awarding out of that money $5,000 to BUCM that they have requested for the rental mortgage assistance program. They would be able to help qualifying low mod income persons up to $2,000 per household with rental payments. At this time, they have asked for $5,000 to help them get that. They have a program that they do already, and they have some other funding, but they have asked for another $5,000 to help with that. And then the Outreach Center has asked for $20,000 to help with that. And Olive Hill Economic Development Corporation has actually asked for $66,000, but out of this 56, we would have $31,000 left that we would ask that you consider awarding to them so that they can use it in their rental and mortgage assistance program.
What's the wish of council?
I'll make a motion to award CDBG CV CARES Act COVID-19 funds as specified for public service activities to local nonprofits as indicated for the purpose of assisting with COVID-19 related expenses.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Sally, we got 56,000, is that correct?
In total, we're going to get $106,000 in the second pot of money.
Right.
We are awarding the 56 currently, and as the time goes on, and the rules change about every, 2 or 3 days maybe. But we are in constant contact with our rep in Greensboro, and as we find out more, we expect that at our next meeting, we'll be coming back to you to ask to award the remainders of the money, or at least a good portion of it. It started out that, you couldn't have expenditures, that the people they were helping couldn't have expenditures past July 31st. Now that's moved, and that date keeps moving, so we're trying to hold a little money to help folks who maybe have made it this far, but now that this is lingering on, they're starting to struggle, and we'd really like an opportunity for them to have access to some of this help as well.
Any further comments?
It is delightful to have this to be able to do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Any more? No more? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Anything else? We are adjourned.